talk a little bit about what schools care about most. In terms of admissions, often schools will really look for academic rigor as the most important thing. Often universities are really evaluating this very carefully. So if you're looking for a selective school, there's a good checklist to follow. You want to make sure that you're going to do 4 years of a language, no matter what, even if you're a science or math person. If that's a challenge, there are like alternative ways to get this done that are not so hard and that you can maybe ease yourself in to finishing those 4 years. But for the most part, 4 years of language, that's a good rule of thumb to maintain academic rigor. The highest level classes that you can take without compromising your grade point. We like to see 3 years of science at least, and those 3 years of science should be physics. There should be a physics, there should be a biology, and there should be a chemistry. We all 4 years of English, that's a requirement for most high schools, so that one we never have to really worry about. And you want to make sure that your student has at least 3 years of social science, and that you have a US history and some kind of Euro. And if you really want to kind of go above and beyond, you want to make sure that you have some, like at least a year of some kind of visual art or performing art. The next thing that schools would look at, in addition to academic rigor, would be your grade point average. And so if you take the hardest classes and get the highest grades, that's a good starting point, a good baseline. And we have a really clear way of looking at whether or not you have any gaps in your academic rigor. Often students with IB diploma, for instance, they'll take only like one science throughout, or two sciences, and the third science becomes a really big challenge. So that's something that schools are used to seeing. Doesn't always have to be that you take three sciences if you're an IB student, but we do like to look at that and see if we can kind of help you look more robust than others. We also look at non-academic factors, so extracurricular factors. Do you have international awards, national awards, state or regional, high school, or local awards? And so this is important and becomes a kind of important factor, and we help students plan for these awards in our work. Personality and school support. One of the great markers of whether or not someone's going to get in my mind, is whether or not there's a kind of coachability. And personality and school support, that coachability, what I mean by that is a student able to really, is a student willing to kind of take on new challenges? Are they willing to try new things? If so, that's often a good sign. School support comes often when a school nominates you for awards also. Okay. Universities also like research, they like high value coursework, and they like high value programs, awards, or competitions. You should plan for these. You don't need to win everything, but you do need to sort of think about which are the big awards that you would be competitive for. So this might be actually like a kind of plan, right? So you could actually try to plan for ISEF or RSI, and then you could maybe do some summer programs like Stony Brook Simons, and then maybe a service or a research. Here's another one. You could go to nationals, you could be team captain, and you could play a sport. So you want to think about things in terms of national, local, state awards, and sort of the activity service.